The great Dr. Alister MacKenzie is revered across the world for his work as a golf course architect. Known for his bold, daring designs which stretch from the Melbourne sandbelt to the Monterey Peninsula, MacKenzie's legacy might just be second to none. His resume boasts legendary courses such as Cypress Point, Augusta National and Royal Melbourne. But it all started for him in a small suburb of Leeds, where he laid out his very first design at Alwoodley Golf Club. MacKenzie was a born and bred Yorkshireman. Born in the town of Normanton to Scottish parents, he attended the Queen Elizabeth Grammar School in Wakefield before going down to the University of Cambridge to study medicine. After passing the medical exams and graduating from Cambridge in 1897, MacKenzie returned to Leeds and joined the Leeds Golf Club. He would later write that when he first played the game at aged 18, he thought, "A rotten game, where you simply smote a ball as hard as you can and then spend half an hour looking for it. I did not take it up again seriously until nearly 10 years later, and then I developed the disease, badly." MacKenzie served with some distinction in the Somerset Light Infantry during the Second Boer War, and on his return from South Africa, his passion for golf soon became apparent. In the space of a few years, he reduced his handicap from 18 to 7, and in 1901 wrote in the Leeds Golf Club suggestion book that he felt the course could be improved by making more of the natural features to create a greater resemblance to the golf on seaside courses, which in those days everyone felt to be vastly superior to inland courses. Such remarks were an early indication of his design philosophy and would inform his design for Alwoodley and a great many other courses. This wonderful parcel of moorland is ideal golfing terrain. It drains well and enjoys firm, springy turf that is reminiscent of the ancient links in Scotland. And the undulating ground leads to great variety, holes which are beautiful and strategic in equal measure. You tee off from the low ground in front of the imposing clubhouse, and the routing gently weaves its way upwards. The short par 4 second presents an early opportunity for a birdie for the longer hitter, but also the potential to fail given the semi-blind nature of the tee shot and the slippery green complex which awaits your approach. But the course really comes to life as you cross the road and step onto the third tee box, where you're greeted with a stunning view across the heathland. The third hole itself is a mid-length par 5 featuring heavily rumpled fairways and a trademark MacKenzie green, which yields several interesting pin positions, none more so than the one which is tucked far left. There is some suggestion that the genesis for Alwoodley lay in MacKenzie's dissatisfaction with his local courses, but in any event, we know for certain that MacKenzie was influential in the formation of the club. He was one of the 14 members present at its foundation on the 24th of January 1907 and, 5 days later, was elected the club's first secretary and a member of both the Green Committee and the General Committee. Subtle contours and undulations are the defining feature of Alwoodley and present the player with a variety of options for shot selection. Despite MacKenzie's passion for course design and his plans for the course at Alwoodley, his fellow members felt some sense of trepidation with his bold, daring designs, and they sought the input of Harry Chaplin Colt, then the preeminent figure of golf course design. Colt visited Alwoodley in 1907 and stayed at MacKenzie's house and would later write one evening after dinner, "He took me into his consulting room, where instead of finding myself surrounded by the weapons of his profession as a doctor of medicine, I sat in the midst of a collection of photographs of sand bunkers, putting greens and golf courses, many plans and designs of Alwoodley course. I found that I was staying with a real enthusiast and one who had already given close attention to a subject in which I've always been interested. And it is this enthusiasm for natural beauty and nature which has helped him in all his work, so that in the case of Alwoodley, the player not only has the opportunity of displaying his skill in the game, but also of enjoying the relaxation which natural surroundings always give." Colt's stamp of approval was a clear ringing endorsement of MacKenzie's vision for Alwoodley. The good doctor's design of tricky, undulating greens would become a trademark characteristic of his later work. The par 3 11th is perhaps the most famous, or infamous, of all the short holes at Alwoodley. Known for the most severe contours, which mean that it's simply vital to leave your ball on the correct side of the hole, it is not uncommon to aim your putt at right angles to the hole, and 4 putts are not out of the question. When one visits Alwoodley, you get the sense that the membership are very proud of their heritage and custodians of a course which occupies an important place in the history of golf course architecture. And while the course has been lengthened over time, it remains true to Mackenzie's original vision, thanks in recent years to the involvement of Clyde Johnson, who has advised the club with bunker renovation and tree removal. The closing stretch of holes from 13 through 18, often played into the prevailing wind, is notoriously demanding, but it's no surprise that Alwoodley has been an appropriate place to test the best amateurs in the game, having hosted the Brabazon, the British Seniors and the Open qualifying in recent years. The 15th is another standout hole, a rare left to right dogleg at Alwoodley, featuring another immense Mackenzie greenside where any approach shot struck with anything less than total conviction will be repelled away from the hole. And as for the closing stretch, the final 2 holes might be the most dramatic and difficult finishing holes in English golf as you work your way back towards the clubhouse. If the drives are in play, you can soak up the views across the moorland and take in the full beauty of your surroundings, with the clubhouse beckoning in the distance. In Clyde Johnson, they have a fantastic architect who isn't looking to put his own stamp on a historic course, but rather recapture Mackenzie's original vision by widening the mowing lines, expanding the green sites, and removing those trees which have encroached in the past century. In a world where we're all a bit too quick to criticise old wisdom and advocate new ways of doing things, Alwoodley is a timely reminder that we'd all do well to stop and think and recapture the principles of golden era architects. For any enthusiasts of Alister Mackenzie's work, this is ground zero, and somewhere you simply must play to understand what the good doctor was all about.